Okay, we're back and starting with day two, hotline segment two, explore Zoom. Now, Zoom is a great tool for meeting. There are many out there, but this is the one that has actually surpassed all others. It is in full development, it's constantly growing and adapting, and there's a lot of things that are happening with Zoom. People are creating rooms for Zoom so that they can have meeting spaces and integrate the technology of Zoom. And there is a phone, I believe, coming up or is available for Zoom. I think it's fascinating, all of the possibilities. I have set up, I'm working with two different accounts at this point so that I can share with you some of the highlights, the extended account, so you can see behind the scenes, especially if you have only tried the free basic account. And let's jump into it. I'm going to be sharing my screen and walking you through. Okay, so that is behind the scenes. I'm in it. I want to start by giving you that this is an example. We're going to explore it. I am very familiar with Zoom. I've been using it pretty much from the beginning, and I have used it. I've used more extensive aspects of Zoom as well as the basics, but mainly I've been using the basics. So wait a minute, I'm going to stop this screen. I'm going to get over to the other screen. And that explains it. And we're doing the walkthrough. So video conferencing. Okay. So this is Zoom. I am sharing my screen. I believe you can see it. I'm going to go over here. I'm also leveraging my computer at the same time so that I can follow up with what's going on in my world outside of today's event, or this week's event, really, and just to monitor that all things are copacetic, because there's been a couple of technical hiccups along the way. So let's just make sure everything is working to plan. I'm not seeing it. Where are ya? Okay. Okay, that's not correct. Oh, that's great. Okay, perfect. All right, so welcome to Zoom. Zoom is a meeting solution, and this is, the walkthrough of Zoom with me, Lori Webb from InSpot, and the Entrepreneur Hotline host. So we have the opportunity to look to, we're going to do an overview of this. You go through the solutions. Like I said, I just like walk through it because that's the most efficient way to understand something new and you don't miss anything. But you can look through the products that it offers, the rooms and the workspaces, the phone system, the video webinars, the app marketplace, industries. I'll go over here, industries. Using it for education or finance or government or healthcare, and then the Zoom blog to get more information if you really want to, follow what's happening. Now, this is the Entrepreneur Hotline, so my focus is on how entrepreneurs will be able to use this, and as soon as I can. I have something popping up on my screen, so I apologize. Okay, so what we're most interested in is, getting to the point of what Zoom can do for you. So meetings, online meetings, trainings, and technical support. You can do video webinars, where you can market events and have town hall meetings. You can have conference rooms, so you can build a collaboration between, enabling conference rooms. And you can have a phone system, the next generation enterprise phone system, and then a cross-platform messaging and file sharing. We are in this area of the meetings, and that's what we want to focus on. Yeah, some basic recommendations or testimonials, and they talk about why Zoom. And here are their reasons. One, consistent enterprise experience for all use cases, engineered and optimized to work reliably. Up to 1,000 video participants and 10,000 viewers are possible depending on what package you've purchased. It's easy to use, buy, and scale. Most affordable, straightforward pricing. So if it's easy to use and buy and scale, then let's see how that plays out. Here's an example of how one office space is using this, or one, you know, um, meeting space. And it just keeps, it's got lots of love and lots of people who are using it. So you set up your account, you sign in, you create an account. Uh, you This is one of the accounts that I have set up. I'm working with my colleague slash sister, Dr. Tyra Lewis, on this account. And so it's set up for her mainly, but it's so that I can use it for to connect the dots between the other accounts. And we can go through and we set up our profile. I'm using my little emoji of me showing you. Then you go through and you have your personal meeting, your meeting ID. You have your sign in. In this case, like I said, I am collaborating with my sister on Institute of Executive Leadership. We work together on this, mainly me in the back end and she on the front end. And it is a pro membership type. The capacity is 100 people to meet, and it's the language we've chosen is English, and the time zone is Pacific time because she is based in Vegas. The format month, day, and year, because that is the way that the American culture, I believe it's the whole American culture, but the United States culture, that is the format. And however, I did use the 24-hour time format, which is not how the American uh, public, the United States public uses time, the military time, as we call it in the States. So this is, calendar and content integration. You can create third-party services or apps such as Google, Outlook, or Exchange to sync the calendar and the context. So you can set those things up, sign in password, the host key, and signed in devices. So they offer you a live demo if you want some assistance. Then we go over here again and we can look at meetings. And what can I do? I can look at upcoming meetings. For example, I've scheduled a 1 o'clock meeting with with the topic, the Entrepreneur Hotline Explore Zoom. There's the meeting ID. I can hit that to start right now, or I can wait for it to schedule, or when it's ready to schedule, then I'll hit it. So you can set up a scheduled meeting, but if you decide to go a little bit earlier or a little bit later, you can also integrate that. It won't time out. There are platforms where if you set it for a certain time, that if you don't engage the meeting at that time, it will time out and you'll have to start a new schedule. This one allows you to do that. Looking for previous meetings. Actually, this is actually doesn't have previous meetings set here. Now this is right now setting up as my personal meeting because I went in and made an adjustment. It's not true because it's actually Institute of Entrepreneur I'm sorry, of executive leadership. And so it breaks it down with that information that I actually spoke of earlier. And that is my option. Then I can go to, I have an option to schedule a meeting, join a meeting, or host a meeting. We also have the webinar. Zoom video webinars allow you to easily conduct large online events with video, audio, and screen sharing for up to 100 video participants in this case, and 10,000 attendees. And this is on the Pro program. The features in webinar are tailored for managing large audiences with branding, registration, host controls, polls, question and answer, raise hand, chat, recording, and reporting. Monetize your webinars with our PayPal integration via Zapier. And then, how is a webinar enabled? Webinar can be added to any paid plans such as Pro, Business, or Edu, or Education. Go to your webinar add-on plan or contact your sales representative. And then how do you start? You start with using the user management page, admin, and can enable webinars for certain users with edit users. For the sake of this tutorial, we are going to hold it to we're going to be focused on the meetings segment. I just wanted to show you that this was an option. And just to run down this important part, the personal, what's available to you in the Pro program, because many people don't see the back end. I think it's a difference of how one is proposed something will look and how it actually looks. So if you are considering it, this gives you inside information, back of the room, back end information, insight into Zoom. If you are considering, the free one is easy enough. You buy it, you try it, it works up to a certain point. But this enables some really, some of it's pretty extraordinary, really works cool, really works well, and gives you a lot of options to connect with others and create your own webinars or extensive meetings and mini conferences of sorts. This is a cloud recording, or you can do local recordings. The local recordings tab here is boom. So I can set up local recordings are listed only for meetings that were recorded while using a supported version of the client. Verify that your client has been upgraded to a supported version before you start the meeting. The supported versions are Windows version 4.0 and blah, 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 and Mac version 4.0, blah, blah, blah. So we'll go back to the cloud's recordings, which gives you access throughout the cloud. So if you want to download it to something else, you have that option. You set up the date, you set up the search ID, and you can go in and look at the files. I have something previously recorded from November 14th. And then I look in the settings, meetings, schedule that meeting, host that meeting, participants video. I can start something went directly to, okay. So in the meeting, schedule the meeting. You can schedule the meeting in meeting basic, in meeting advanced, email notification, and other. You schedule the meeting, you host the video, you can start meetings with host video on. Now, if you don't want to be caught off, then you leave it off in case, you just need to make some adjustments. You want to, make sure the camera angle is right, and you want to make sure you're ready before you go live. You might want to wait a minute. The participants video can be on. Start the meetings with the participant video on, especially if you're working in a group that you're ready to go live. Then you can set that. You can set both of them to just go when you're having like mastermind meetings. When I have mastermind meetings, then I have it set so that we just come in. But if you're going to do a webinar, then you definitely want to give it a minute so that you can kind of adjust yourself and get ready. Audio type, telephone and computer audio. Zoom allows you to call in. It allows people to call in, and you can decide if you want people to join before you join the room. use personal meeting ID when scheduling, so you can set up your personal meeting room, which I have set up, and that just makes it easy to remember how to get in. And then you can always send it to people and not be worrying about the link because you know how to write it in and people can get access. And you decide if you want to require password when you're scheduling new meetings. If it's sensitive meeting information, or you don't want it to be open, or you don't want to, especially if you're using your personal room, where anyone who's accessed that, who knows that that's your personal room, could jump in theoretically. You might not want to be disturbed, so you want to. And actually, when you're working with a team, if you have multiple uses, then you don't want that to occur. Require password for instant meetings and require password for personal meetings. I didn't for that. And embed the password in meeting link for one click to join. Now, be wary when you do that one click join. Sometimes it can cause a little bit of a challenge depending on what device you are clicking in through. But on the whole, it's pretty seamless. And we're going to see, hopefully, through that. Require a password, mute participants upon entry, so that, if you're in the middle of a presentation and people are clicking in and they're not coming at the top of the hour, so to speak, then you don't want to be disrupted, especially if there's background noise and someone doesn't have a mic attached, and it's going to kind of disrupt the whole event. And then upcoming meeting planner. And then in the meeting basics, you have more information about encryption and allowing for chat, so that our participants can, be allowed to send messages to all participants to connect. Especially, this is good, especially where you're having breakouts, and allow for private chat, auto saving the chats. Also good as documentation to go back and explore what was said, what was uncovered in a meeting. You can play sound when the participants join or leave, so you have an idea of what's happening. Sometimes that can get super ignored. Like if it's like a high volume, then I don't suggest it, because you'll just be hearing the beep throughout, and that's very disruptive, especially when you're recording, and it's not great for the replay. And then file transfer. Host and participants can send files through the in-meeting chat. So you can decide if it's only allowed for specific file types, or, if it's in general. And then there's feedback to Zoom. Add a feedback tab to the Windows setting or Mac preference dialog, and also enable users to provide feedback to Zoom at the end of the meeting. Yeah, I mean, that's nice, but we don't need to send feedback to them right now. Display end of meeting experience feedback. Maybe that's more relevant. I don't have it in the option right now. I'm not going to change it. And then to allow the co-host, allow the host to add co-host. You have that same opportunity to, you have the opportunity to give them the same rights and abilities and capabilities. You also have the right to the option of adding polls to the meeting controls. This allows you to survey attendees, finding out where they're from, gathering valuable information. What do they want to learn in the seminar, or in this meeting, or what do they want to focus on, or what are their burning questions, what have you. You want to allow hosts to put attendees on hold, so that if there's some disruption, especially, that the host has control over that. And you can you can always show meeting control bar, so that it's easier for you to manage as you go through Zoom. And show windows and screen sharing options. Who can share? All participants. If you're doing a more webinar oriented presentation, or you're doing a presentation where you're coaching and you're showing people, you may not need to show that everyone can share the screen. However, if you're trying to walk somebody through, if you're coaching and you're trying to walk them through something, then sometimes it's very valuable that the participants are allowed to share their screen, and then you are like who can start sharing when someone else is sharing. So that I would say is probably best to be the host only. And then annotation, allow participants to use annotation tools to add information to shared screens. And that is in line. So, I'm having a problem on the website. I can't understand this part, then they can annotate that and make it clearer and easier to use. We also have the whiteboard function, so that allows participants to share a whiteboard that includes annotation tools. And then remote control, so if I need access to show you something, to walk you through something, I can achieve access and be able to work on your screen while being here on my screen. The magic of technology. And then nonverbal feedback. Participants in a meeting can provide nonverbal feedback and express opinions by clicking on icons in the participant panel. So really quick, like, I instead of writing, love the content or something, you have a happy emoji or a thumbs up, that kind of thing. And, we are used to that from mobile. You can allow removed participants to rejoin if they have left. It allows them to, if they get bounced out, to come back. And then in the advanced section, which I was also explaining to you, you have breakout rooms. And so if you want to have some discussion and you want to break your groups out, which is one of the coolest things to happen in the upgraded version, this advanced version of Zoom, why a lot of people love it so much. I saw this back in the day with another platform with Maestro. That was the first platform that had breakout rooms and was really great. There was music. I think when I did my entrepreneurial profile, I'm sorry, when I did entrepreneurial ABCs, that must have been about 2000 and I want to say 2012. Maestro was getting started. I think they were in beta for a very long time, and they took a long time to get off the ground, and the cost and some of the issues with it made them basically disappear. I think most of the people on this call or this, in this talk would not have heard of them, but they had some really cool features that when I was looking for something to digitally replicate in live, in person experience, looking to design something that would be more more interactive, that was the platform that that I found to be the closest to the experience. And now it looks as if, well, not now, before, but Zoom has also integrated that, and it's a great thing. Now they just need to, like, add some music, unless I haven't seen it. I like the idea of the music when you're waiting and you were able to adjust that a little bit to add a little bit more of your personal brand vibe, to get people excited, to set the tone. Yeah, but maybe I'll go back and check out Maestro and do a separate little explore on that later. The breakout room, back to Zoom, the breakout room, allowing the host to assign participants to breakout rooms when scheduling. This is really cool in the entrepreneurial space. It could be connecting mentors and connecting, mentees, and allowing people to connect and see if they are, allowed to see if they're a match, and to actually, facilitate a, a knowledge exchange. And then that remote support, closed captioning, save captions, far end camera control, which is like allowing another user to take control of your camera during a meeting, and group HD video, virtual background, also super cool. If you have a green screen at home, it allows you to replace the background with any selected image. Choose or upload an image in the Zoom desktop application settings. Actually, I misspoke. Uh, in um, in another platform, then you have to have the actual blue screen. This I haven't actually used the blue screen. I haven't actually used the virtual background in this Zoom, so we can maybe walk through it and identify the guest participants in the meeting and webinar, and auto answer group chat, only show default. You can see this thing is going on and on. I am committed to going through it because I think, it's so overwhelming. Often people won't look through it, but this is, to make sure we don't miss anything. Use HTML format email for Outlook plugin. You can allow users to select original sound in their client settings. So you can allow them to select this original sound. That's going to need maybe some further exploration. Curious about that. I'm going to hit it to see what it can sound like or look like. Attention tracking lets the host see and indicate like what's happening in the participant panel, how things are going. Zoom in the focus during the screen sharing. You have the waiting room. Attendees cannot join a meeting until a host admits them individually from the waiting room. If waiting room is enabled, the option for attendees to join the waiting room. I think we're gonna have to see that from another angle right now. Since I am the host, you won't be able to see it, so I'd have to reverse that because you're not going to see the screen share through my phone. And then you can join through the browser link. You can allow live streaming the meeting to Facebook, Workplace by Facebook, YouTube, and custom live streaming service, including the platform we're using, Hey Summit, today or this week for the Entrepreneur Hotline. When a cloud recording is available, you can get notified. And when attendees are joining before the host, you can also be notified when the meeting, notify host and participants when it's canceled, when an alternative host is set or removed, when someone's scheduled a meeting for a host, and other things. Blur, snapshot, how you can edit the invitation, you can schedule privileges, and we are almost finished. Integration, authentication, authentication. All right, well, let's get to it because this is there is a meeting scheduled and it's apparently going. So what I said is we want to join that meeting. Hopefully it will still show up. And I did not actually I thought it was going to pop up here. I said schedule a meeting, join a meeting. What was that link? Dun, 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 dun. I scheduled it. And what did I do? Did I copy and paste it? And since it's past the time, it might have gone. Something else is coming up. I don't want that. Okay, so where'd it go? Okay, we're going to try it again then. We'll just do that. TE hotline TH. And I'm just going to do this real quick. And it is now 105. So it's going to, I'm not sure it's going to let me do it incremental, which might be, there we go. Okay, we're going to do that in 15 minutes. I'll go through something else and just make sure I don't miss it. Make sure it's also the right time zone. This is also one of the critical things. And you have to actually know your time zones in your area. You can look through here, but it's your name is the city that you live in isn't always going to be listed. In my case, it is. I am in Copenhagen, Denmark, which is Greenwich Mean Time +1. And you can click if that's a recurring meeting. There is no registration. I am allowing for, to generate this meeting automatically. This is my own meeting here, so that would make life easier. Host video is off. I'm going to set it on, and I'm going to set participation video on. And audio, I want both. Meeting enabled to join before the host. Yeah. I'm going to just say that is okay. I can enable the waiting room, but I'm not going to do that. And well, if you want to see what the waiting room looks like, perhaps I'll do that so that they can't. And I could mute them upon entry, but then you got to remember to click it and record the meeting automatic. Actually, I am going to do that because I'm going to have feedback, and then to record it automatically. I'm going to do that just to see how it plays out. And that's that. All right, let's do it. We have a few minutes. And in that time, I'm going to say save, right? So it's going to show up. I showed you this actually earlier. Did save it, correct? Come on, baby, work with me. Okay, because it pops up. So from enter start time and duration for your event so that the end time is later than the current time. Oh, I see. I see what I did there. I hit the wrong thing. There you go. I want it to start at. Why do I have minutes? Oh, it's because that's what I did. And I want it to start and I have to okay, this is a little frustrating because I would not like to I want to start at 1:15. So I can't do this, so I'm not going to do this. I will do this at 1:30 so that I can show you both the scheduled meeting and what happens when you just join now, because of course that's enter start time and duration. Where am I? Enter your meeting description. Okay, when? Oh, little things when you're not paying attention. Okay, because the automatic set. So this should now work. All right, and then I can add it to my calendar, which is not going to be necessary. I'm going to, check this so that I can copy and paste it in the case that I get, come on. Okay, and I can start that meeting now. That's right, I was telling you that. So I can start the meeting now, but I'm going to do the schedule. I leave it at the schedule, and I'm going to do a start the meeting now so we can see that. Join a meeting. I'm sorry, not join the meeting. I want to host a meeting with the video on. You can also share screen only, so you can do a basic tutorial. Now, in this case, I don't have Zoom on this computer, so I have to go and get it. And now something happened because of this. Okay, this is not what I. Wow. Everything's coming up. So you can see a presentation that was put. This has a mind of its own now. I'm having trouble with this linking. I don't want that. I do not want that. Are we still in your? I'm looking at something you're not looking at because my mouse decided to take over, and I don't understand why it's doing that, but not my mouse. How do I explain this? The touchpad or whatever. I'm on a Lenovo, and I am a Mac girl. So what happened was I just closed down the screen. Okay. In my attempt to continue that, I am going to go back and hope that it's still there. But like I said, I am this right now. The mouse is not my ability to get this thing to move where I want it is not working correctly. I'm going to try to make it work, but it's jumping. So I apologize. Let's see if it'll come up again. It's closed out, and we're going to be actually almost at having to go back. Is that scheduled call? I mean, that scheduled meeting. Remember, we're going to go to share screen, and I'm going to bind it again for you. Hopefully it's going to work. There we go. And we're back in. Okay, now I'm still set up in my account. I'm going to host a meeting with the video on. It's going to come up. It's going to prompt me. I actually did download Zoom already. Except for it's going to have to, I'm going to have to go to open applications to share. Oh no, is it loading? It is loading. So good. That is a positive thing. Great. Okay. So it's going to launch ultimately at some point today. I don't know why it's taking so long. It doesn't actually usually take this long. So while we're working on that, is there a meeting solution that you use and that you like? I have throughout the years, like I mentioned before, there's been a lot, starting off with the teleseminar software and apps, webinar, all kinds of, yeah, basically all kinds of video and audio and live stream and, you know, you name it. I have probably been through that resource, but the using Maestro earlier and using Appear.in was something I used a lot. Basically, in 2015, that was how I used it as a green room for many of my events, so that it, you know, to meet up and then to also have meetings. And Appear still exists. It's actually been renamed. It's been, you know, things are always, you know, evolving. This is not coming up. I do not know why. That's so far and yet so close and yet so far away. We are here at Zoom and the launching is still launching. And the question is, why is it still launching? I'm going to go back to this and see. And I'm going to go to join a meeting and see if maybe that comes up. Maybe I'm able to do that. Maybe it's faster. We're trying to launch. Still launching. I'm still getting a dialogue message. You just saw that it's there's a little bit of a delay between me and you. Launching. Come on. It's just not doing it. Wow. So this is probably going to take me right out from where I want to be. And I'm going to go and see if I can do it here because it looks like I'm in. I'm in when there we go. I'm in. Okay, great. Finally. So this is based on computer audio, right? I'm going to join. I'm going to join right now. I'm going to use I'm going to allow the microphone. And now I'm here. Now I just need to see who's, you know, down here at the bottom, you can see mute, start video, invite, manage, share screen, chat, record, and more. So let's take it all the way down like I have been doing. You can start the video. I can start the video now. I'm allowing the camera. that's really a big me. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to manage the participants. Okay, who's coming? What's happening? It did it again. It bounced me out. Let's get back in here. I'm here to share. Yes, we're back. I'm sharing the screen, and it looks like I'm sharing more than one screen, which is crazy. Hopefully I didn't shoot it out. Now what we were doing was, wow, this is extremely large. Let's see, is that better? Okay, so I have the host, so I need to check in on this with my Zoom, and hopefully nothing will go wrong with this. I'm going to join that meeting with that ID 69. So you can, right now what I'm doing is I'm on my phone writing it in. It would have been easier to have sent it to myself, but unfortunately it was going to take too long. This is why it's really great when you have your, you have the setup. I didn't set it up this time in showing you, wait just a second, 698. So what I'm looking at right now, so you can see, this is the link that you want, and that number 698-484. That's where it went wrong. 484 484 354, and then I should be able to join. It took me from being in this, whoops. I was on video. I'm starting video again. It bounced me out. I don't really know why. So here's the video. I'm live, and I'm waiting for Lori Webb to join participant as a participant. But waiting. Might have a conflict because if I had it set up on my, like if you have multiple accounts, it can be a challenge, obviously. It's spinning around because I think it's set up for, I think it automatically opened up the wrong one. So it's not letting me join. So I want to close out that, but I am not allowed to do it, apparently. So what I want to do is, like I said, manage participants so I can invite. I can use the default email. I can Gmail, I can Yahoo, I can use this, but again, like, so if I copy the URL, or I can actually copy the full invitation, and then I can send that invitation or copy that URL. Probably the best thing to do is I will send it to myself, which you are not seeing, probably. And then I'll be able to get in on the other end. This is actually easier to do if you have somebody with you, but for the sake of, using the time right now to do this, I'm just going to put it in here and work with myself. Okay, very interesting. Give me 2 seconds and we will be there and see how it goes. Now, why is it not doing it? That is not the correct thing. Let me go back here and check. So sometimes it is going to be a little cumbersome, and that is why we test. and I am testing. I'm using a new computer, not a new computer, a borrowed computer because mine died, and several of mine died simultaneously, and there is a little bit of a steeper learning curve on this than anticipated. But we are going to get there in just a minute. So please hang in there with me. And I will send this and I will pull the other one up. I am back. You're watching me probably from two sides. Oof, extra special. Close this so that you have just me. You can center yourself. I'm live with the live stream. I'm going to be using this to go on if I can. Right now I'm actually challenged because I want to join a meeting, but it's not allowing me to do it. It's not allowing me to do it. So chances are I'm going to have to basically reboot my system. Okay, it says I'm unable to connect, so now maybe I can do it. Join a meeting. I will be able to do that by clicking here, getting my message. If it goes through, it takes a while. It's been taking a while for me to send, and I am simply waiting for the message so that I can sign in, and then we can continue on with our tutorial. Right? There we go. I now have the Zoom message here sent to my email, and I will click. Can you see that? And I will join with that ID that I have. So basically, I'm going to join with the ID. I said, okay, come on. Why is it not letting me add? I have a lot of meeting spaces because I have a lot of meetings on Zoom. And so it's wanting to generate something. It's not wanting to do it the easy way. Okay. Oh, it's so insane that it's supposed to be easy and then it's not. I am cutting and pasting this and wishing for the best. There we go. Now you put your name so people know who you are when you're coming in. Start or join a meeting on the go. I just did that, people. Wow, it's so not working for me. This is, yes, in real time when the tech goes wrong. We are now really, I don't know if all of my devices are just super tired from, extensive live streaming over the last few days. I don't know what the excuse is for it. If there is an excuse, I actually don't think there is an excuse. But let me see. I'm very, now I'm authenticating with my Touch ID, which apparently is not wanting to do that either. So okay, something's happening. Something's happening. Thinking. will be a joy if this actually works, because as I said, it actually is usually much more seamless. Isn't that the case often? Just when, you can do something that you do all the time, and as soon as someone's there to look at it, then it's a challenge. Like suddenly it doesn't work. I have that. I, bake basically 3 times a week here in Copenhagen. And often then I'll go home, and usually it happens at my brother's house. Then I make something and it's totally crazy. Like it doesn't come out in the way that it's supposed to. And it's like, oh yeah, I hear you're such a great baker. I hear you're so good at it. Grandma says that you make the best bagels or, donuts or whatever. And then I get over there and it doesn't come out. Okay, it's not, it's just, it's doing some sort of internet connection, it says now. Okay. Exquisite. Okay, I'm giving it the last college try, as they say. I am aiming to sign in to this meeting and seeing if it works. Oh boy. I said a password, apparently. I don't recall doing that. So now that I'm here and I don't have the password to my own meeting, that is super irritating. I wonder if I could, it says it's not the right one. So that doesn't work because the settings that I set up were too complicated for my extremely tired brain. That means I have to go back. I really want to just join a new one. I want to do a new one. But if the settings are as they were, then that's going to be that's not going to work. So why don't we try this? Like the new share chat. Let's see what's down here. I can say disable video receiving. Let's see what else I can do. Okay, I can record. I didn't record. Have the chat, the new share. What's the new share? You can see here. So I can also share the entire screen, the application window, or the Chrome window. The lighting is really bad on this computer, and so I can't. So I'm sad that I did that because it's hard for me to see how it's doing this. So I go back. I am the only participant right now. I can again try to invite, but that doesn't really make sense. I'm going to close this out and see if I will remain in the window. And we can look at this again. I may have to try this with Gail when she's on later. Maybe we can, do a little tag team so it actually functions the way it's supposed to function. And that is, not the dilemmas of there we go. So I want to use my meeting room, and I don't want to have a password attached. I don't think I do have the password, sign in password. So I want to edit that. Oh boy, I gotta. Okay, that's a challenge because I have to know what the password is, and I don't right now. Well, c'est la vie, as they say. If I want to go in here, and we'll try that again. I will try this again and say, let's do that. Oh, I can't do that. Come to think of it. I don't want to join a meeting. I want to host a meeting. I want to host a meeting with it on. And then it says, oh, would you like to start that meeting? See, this one is crazy because when I set it up, I don't believe that it started there, but now I'm going to try it again just to end it and get it out of the system, starting at a really odd time and making an effort to complete this tutorial for you will be a wonder. Yes. So now it's still launching. In the meantime, let's get back here and talk about the challenges. So when you are setting it up, it is easier to do than this tutorial actually led you to believe. We are being challenged. So what is the deal? Zoom is actually, as opposed to the earlier explore we did with Step Shot, where I gave it this one because I couldn't get it off the ground really. We got it off of the ground. There were some technical issues, some things that you have to be aware of. And actually, I have had clients who have had some struggles with Zoom and have gotten locked out and been challenged. But largely, the amount of meetings that I've had on Zoom over the last few years and the amount of people that that I know to use Zoom and who embrace it and like it has been phenomenal. So I would highly recommend Zoom. I don't know if it's my favorite platform, but it's right now one of best in class. So that is the basic recommendation. That is the exploration. That is the exploration evaluation that I've come to with this. And as we continue on, we will go into, I will actually complete the process. Either I'll come back on and do it again, like I said, maybe with Gail or maybe with Gail or Colin, uh, or with just Colin, we'll see. And if not, we will go through it on the back end and add it to this tutorial, by editing it down so that you can use it and so that it makes more sense and that it's more clear than in doing the live. So the live is, like I said, we are walking through this. It is an experiment, and it is presenting so many teachable moments that I am nearly dumbfounded by the amount of them there are. So I hope that up to the point where we had some trouble getting to the end of the process, that it gave you something of value. And we'll be back in just a little bit. I'm going to switch what do you call this, the heading, because we're switching sections. It makes it easier for us to edit. I'm thinking in terms of the replays and the development of the content. So I am going to log out of this and go into the next one. Thank you and see you soon.